right, so it's Connor Vafi with First Weber Real Estate. So, Connor, how did you get into real estate?
How I got in was pretty quick. It was definitely during like a really tough time in COVID. The big thing was joining into real estate. I really was focused on selling, and I wanted to get into a field that I felt very comfortable with. And my buddy told me I would be really good at it because my buddy Aaron that I'd known since preschool.
Okay.
He was like,
was he in real estate?
No, he wasn't in real estate. He just figured like, hey, this is a good field to maybe try out. And so I gave it a shot. And from there, kind of what had happened was I met with First Weber and a couple other companies.
Who was on like the table of who you were going to choose? Like what brokerage?
Well, at the time, like I didn't really have any knowledge of what was out there because when you get into it, you just think, oh, it seems easy. It's like selling Sunset, right? No, not at all. No. Not even close. And so when I got there and got the interviews for all these companies, it was like, oh, they really want me. But the big thing is that you have a lot more overhead expenses going into it that wasn't really expected. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the times they just didn't have these tools that would really propel me in my career.
Yeah.
And so I looked at a lot of brokerages out in Madison at the time because that's where I was. And from there, what had happened was I got a lot of offers, but I was like, why is this the case? And why should I choose them? I kept thinking that back in my head because I was really entrepreneurial minded, meaning like I wanted to make sure from when I meet the client to the end, they were satisfied completely. And I had a ton of sales jobs beforehand, and I was like afraid that if I get into another sales job, maybe sales isn't for me.
Yeah.
So
why do you think it's so, for I guess even someone new coming in and experience, like why is there so many options?
There's a lot of options out there because each branded company specializes in something different. And what I really wanted to focus on was the higher end deals and doing quality work. Because reality is you can do a ton of deals, but you can slip up a lot of times in each of these deals. And I just wanted to make sure at every point quality was taken care of.
In the offer process, when an agent is picking where to work, what do you think the biggest mistake is?
What do you mean by that?
When an agent is choosing what brokerage they want to go to, what in the offer terms are they not really paying the most attention to or they fall for?
I mean, a lot of times it's just them not doing their own research. They get presented this awesome opportunity, but it's like you read a book, it sounds like an amazing, dream, but then they have to take themselves out of the book because that's not the reality. Yeah, and so they present these false hopes.
Yeah, from the outside looking in, you see so many new companies or brokerages kind of spin up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like Epic, EXP, Real, a lot of these like new spin up, almost like cloud-based brokerages, and it's kind of confusing from the outside.
Yeah, and again, it's like you got to show what you're specialized in. Yeah. And what First Weber does really well is, we try to take it from when you meet us to the end, and not only the end, but after you're getting that full service.
Yeah. No, I mean, we have great experience with First Weber. It's probably one of the best brokerages we work with, like on a daily basis. You can definitely tell the quality of deal, the quality of transaction you're going to have based on the brokerage. Like it's a very real thing.
Yeah, and again, it's about reputation and being reputable, and Absolutely. We try to represent that we are a luxury brand and we do this high-end service, and that's where we really excel in, and that's why we are such a big branded name in the state.
Yeah. When you work with other agents, like what do you think the biggest mistake is made, or what's the most annoying thing to deal with on a daily basis?
It's the simplest thing, but the biggest thing is just communication.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times I've talked to an agent. I talked to them once, and then they either go silent, they text me, or shoot an email, and I hear nothing after. It's crickets. And that's very frustrating because, too, not only are you doing your client a disservice, but I look for that in working with an agent because we need to be on the same page throughout the whole process. And it's just very sad because these people, they're being represented by things like that, and they should really know what they're being taken care of. And it's just sad, but sometimes they do that.
Yeah. I think what people outside the industry don't realize is, choosing an agent's very important. Like if you choose the wrong agent, like it's tens of thousands of dollars on the other side. And and that's why we like working, with someone like you who can actually communicate. And
yeah, no, I appreciate that. I mean, the big thing again too, it's a lot of times it's the inexperience of going through the process and they just think it's seamless.
Mm-hmm.
But then once they have a bad experience, then they're like, oh, this next time around, I'm going to really second guess that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, again, sometimes in life you have those experiences of like, you have to have, a shortcoming or a downfall to really pick yourself back up. To
Absolutely.
That.
The deals and this was very early on, I guess, in our business, but the deals we've made the least amount of money on is when we were trying to nickel and dime and choose a cheap option on an agent or the representation, and then it just ended up biting us.
Yeah. I mean, the bigger thing now is, especially with the turn in the market, you got to make sure you have a good agent.
Absolutely.
Because when money matters into this, you need a good agent to represent you and negotiate it, because a lot of times people can just take advantage of you, and you got to know when to stand your ground, because a lot of times people just say, oh, we just got to get this deal done.
Yeah.
You got to know what your house is worth too.
Yeah. Outside of communication, I mean, where do you see other factors playing a role?
I mean, big thing is just like what the agent has to offer. So marketing, that's huge. But if they're not solid in marketing, what other tools do they have at their database? So do they have a good network of other agents? So sometimes they can just call up an agent. They know they're going to be there. Yeah. So, and they have a ton of clients for that. That's a big thing too.
Yeah. And especially like someone like yourself, a full-time agent, I feel like is very important to work with. No shade against the part-timers, but a full-time agent who actively has connections inside their brokerage, outside their brokerage, and they can get deals, that every agent may not have access to. I feel like that's a very big important piece to it.
I think a lot of times too is that a lot of these sellers and just buyers, I understand looking at the costs, but I always tell my clients that if you spend $2,000 to $5,000 and you can make 10 to 15, does that make sense?
Yeah,
to you?
exactly. Yeah.
And sometimes they realize like, oh, that makes sense, because I just did a deal like that. I was like, hey, they fight over the commission costs. I'm like, but if I can make you this much more, maybe I should get paid more.
Right.
And then they go silent after that. And I'm like, told you so. So, but again, you got to really relay those lines of like, hey, spending money, you got to do that to make money.
Yeah. You're an agent in the Milwaukee area. What areas are you seeing on the come up, or kind of it's the dark horse markets?
So at least outside of Milwaukee, at least we're talking about suburbs. I mean, you can kind of keep things very simple of like, Brookfield, Elm Grove, Oak Creek to Shorewood. But I try to go outside those lines, because what happens is these how Milwaukee works, or just cities work, is people start to expand out. So the big ones are going to be like Oconomowoc, Cedarburg, Grafton, Franklin's huge too.
Yeah, Franklin's.
And that's where, you got to look outside the next step and how much land is out there. Because right now Brookfield's landlocked, so they can't build anymore. But what's the next thing right after that? Pewaukee and Oconomowoc.
Yeah, just going over deals on a daily basis. A market I feel like is a very sleeper right now is West Allis. West Allis has appreciated a lot just in the past 2 years. We've been looking at deals down here, and it's crazy how much prices have risen in West Allis.
Yeah, I think the big thing too is like for these first time home buyers, it's a great barrier entry, because a lot of times too they're expecting this huge expectation, but West Allis is a really good area too.
Great market.
A lot of things there, and easy access to downtown, or if you're trying to go west too.
Yeah. If you were a first-time home buyer, what are the biggest things you would look at in a deal? Not only the property, but also inside of a transaction, inside of the costs and all that.
I think they just need to look at, what they're willing to spend. So, top dollar, and then outside of the repairs, because a lot of times people don't budget for repairs. They just want everything perfect. This isn't a brand new house. You got to save money for like, hey, what if an AC breaks? People don't budget for that.
Yeah.
And then even too, just saving things for, furniture. People they just don't think of those simple things. No.
That's actually very surprising.
Think about it. lawn tools. You don't have all that just on hand because you're probably staying in an apartment.
Right.
So that's kind of one of those things people don't think about.
Do you see most people? I mean, obviously every agent works with a different clientele, but is it a lot of first-time home buyers? Is it generational? Are they moving from house to house?
Like for me, or
yeah,
just
for you,
the general market?
For you, yeah.
I mean, I kind of work all over the place.
Yeah.
I've done a lot of first-time home buyers, but I've done a lot of like investments. I think too, it's just like you want people to succeed on what they purchase, and I really thrive at that. And so I try to make sure that they're looking for that generational wealth through real estate. Yeah. So finding that good deal or good price on a deal.
Do you enjoy the pure retail or the pure investment side, or a lot of the people you work with are right in the middle of, maybe they're house hacking or investment? Like, what bucket do you enjoy working with the most?
I mean, to speak on it, like, I really like looking to find a deal, the whole negotiating side of it. Because a lot of times, too, they don't know what's good or bad. They look for you for insight. And that's where I'm like, I got you one. And if they like it, we go at it. Yeah. Because I'm pretty sure most of my deals this year, except for one, where we've either gone over asking price, or I should say list price for the seller side, but most of my buy side deals, it's all under ask.
Really?
And we're in a hot market, yeah.
Yeah, it is.
It's, again, you got to find what's a good property. If it's overlisted, let's take advantage of that.
Yeah. Yeah, my favorite deals are houses we can, get into quickly, move fast. The bad deals for me are the ones that are sitting out there kind of lingering. I mean, we haven't really had too much success with it, but maybe you have a different opinion on that.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times, too, it's, again, you got to find what the value is and if you're willing to spend that money in risk. Because, I mean, sometimes people, they can't see past the distressed properties. Yeah. And, like, you guys can. You can see where the money is and what you need to put into it to ramp it up. And then once it's revitalized, people are like, oh, that's awesome. And then what happens is 5 other people say that's awesome. Yeah. And then they get outbid.
Walk me through your first ever deal.
Oh.
And you don't have to name any names.
Yeah, I was going to say, my first deal was a nightmare. It's one of those things of like, how people are in the NFL, like, welcome to an NFL moment. This was welcome to the real estate moment. It was actually an investment property, and his first ever deal. My guy was cash, and we're going out a duplex in Heartland. And didn't really know the process as well as I should know, but what I know now is, you hire an inspection company, you hire either a lender or appraisal or any of those things, contractors to have on hand. And obviously, being new, I didn't have all those tools. So I looked to, like, coworkers. I'm like, hey, who's a good inspector that I can refer? Because a lot of times, too, these buyers are like, who do you got?
Hey, I ain't got no one.
I got no one. So
did they know it was your first transaction?
No, you just got to.
Exactly. You got to play it cool.
Yeah, you got to act professional and all that stuff. But at the time, I didn't have facial hair and I had a baby face. So it's kind of tough to, hide that. But again, you went through that and the inspection was an absolute nightmare. And this was peak COVID. So it's like, oh, we'll just go to the next buyer. And I'm like, oh my God, like, I'm not going to get paid. But it's like also too, the seller is not going to take on this risk. But there was like a gas leak, retaining walls flopping over. I was like, what do all these words mean? And so, I had to go research, learn all.
And
these
this was
things.
pre-Chat GPT.
This was all pre-Chat GPT.
This is pre-Chat GPT.
And so I had to learn all this quick, and I'm like, okay, what is this? How much does this cost? Because, I mean, still, too, now you don't know the cost of a lot of these things. You can get a rough ballpark, but sometimes it could be way worse than it actually is. And it was really bad. And the agent just kept belittling me, threatening me of just like, we'll just walk. And And
your buyers had earnest money down at this point?
Yeah, they did. We had the inspection. They're like, you know what, we'll just go to the other deal. I'm like, okay, you can keep trying to push me around, but I just stood my ground. I'm like, listen here. This is what we want. These are the issues. You took our offer. Now, either respect it or deal with it with the next buyer because they're going to have to deal with it too.
And disclose it.
Yep, and disclose it. And so that's where I felt so great after saying that. And I was just like, when she signed the doc of taking care of it or giving her credit, it felt good. Yeah. And my clients were super happy about that.
What was the purchase price in that?
I think it was around like 350.
Wow.
And probably worth now is like 500K. And that was 5 years ago.
I know, yeah, it's been insane.
So, yeah, I mean, again, when they bought it, good time, and it's always good to buy now.
Yeah. Buy now.
Buy now.
Yeah.
And hold.
Exactly. Buy and hold. Sweet. When did you buy your duplex? Because you have an investment duplex yourself.
Yeah, so I just bought mine last year. I went up against 16 offers.
That's insane.
Yeah.
16?
Yeah, and at the time, I felt like I overbid. But,
Yeah.
again, I just kept relaying in my head, I'm like, if 16 people like this house, it's a good sign.
Mm-hmm.
So it kept reinforcing myself of like, you might have overpaid, but, again, short term, it's a pain. We got to think long term.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, easily it will appreciate.
Yeah, and also, too, the nice things is the fixes that needed to be done were relatively quick, but the one thing I'm really excited about is finally finishing the interior of the house.
Yeah, I would imagine you should be very excited about that.
Very excited.
I mean, there's really nothing wrong with it as is, though.
Nothing wrong.
That's funny. How long did it take you to get your first tenant?
So when I bought it, the tenants were actually there. So this was actually kind of scary because I had 2 tenants and they had their leases at end of like August. And I was like, well, I have to move in. So I was like, well, I'm going to have to either kick one out or what do I do? Just move back into my parents and just have this.
Or move in with one of the tenants.
Yeah, that wasn't going to
Yeah.
happen. But yeah, essentially I was like, hey, so I got to, make a change. Are you wanting to stay or not?
Mm-hmm.
And it was just really lucky because one of the tenants was like, oh, I thought you were going to kick us out anyway. So I found a place. I'm like, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
So I was just happy that I actually
Yeah.
not having to make that decision. And it turned out really great.
Yeah. Sick. Do you plan on buying any more investment property?
Yeah, I'm being a little bit more pickier, but I know when I find one, I'm going to act quick. Because, again, I have the experience of going through it. I'm in the business, and I know what's a good deal when it is a good deal. But it's really trying to find that next one because you got to be patient because a lot of times, too, with a market that's quick, some people are easily able to act quick, but you want to act quick when it's right.
Right.
And that's where, too, a lot of times there's a lot of buyer remorse out there, especially during COVID.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I believe you think the same way, but for me, there's a lot more value in building a business right now than there is building a portfolio. You know what I mean? Like get the active income up.
Yeah.
Get the cash flow going. And then when I want to go out and sit on some property, I'll go out and buy some.
Yeah. And again, it's just managing your risk. And a lot of times people, they just want to go quick. And it's just, you want to be calculated with your risk. I know you're a little bit bigger of a risk taker, but for me, I'm just like, let's play a little bit safer.
Yeah. I remember my last walk through a rental I had in Oshkosh. Per the lease.
Yeah. No
pets, nothing. I walk in it for the first time in like a year, and it was a new tenant. It was a very passive rental. Okay, this guy had a pit bull, reptiles, a snake, 2 tarantulas.
Yeah.
And when I walked that, I'm like, all right, this is not the game I'm gonna play right now. Like the cash flow is fun, but let's dealing with tenants and toilets, it can be a bit of a headache, and it's definitely in the industry over glazed. It's over, promoted in my opinion.
I mean, again, too, it's like, that is the risk of being a landlord. Like you don't want people to damage your place because, it might pay well, but also, too, you're going to have to fix the issues.
Yeah.
The tenants aren't.
Right.
They don't care.
Yeah, I used to do a lot of short-term housing. I would rent to Louisiana travel nurses. I had this like niche carved out.
Okay.
Oshkosh was just bussing in Louisiana travel nurses.
Okay.
So I had all my units. I had about 6 units set up to rent to them.
Yeah.
And there was this one like 3 to 4 month period where I just got the worst of the worst. I mean, I got a lady in there. First day, she said a breaker tripped. I'm like, okay, whatever. It was middle of winter. I drove over there. I get in there. She's got every machine you could possibly imagine plugged into every outlet. She's got a crock pot, 2 microwaves, a hair blower, and then on the table she just has a huge bong and a huge rolling tray just rolling up. Yeah, I'm like, lady, like you moved in 3 hours ago. Like, why are we,
Yeah.
doing all this? And
I mean, that could easily cause a house fire too.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
oversurge. Like,
And I
that's
think,
crazy.
yeah, she was trying to get with me, and it was just a messy situation. I have the text to show it too.
Okay. That's crazy.
Yeah. But you haven't had any negative experience on the landlord side?
As of right now, no. So I
You
also,
recently had a burnt hole in your backyard. What's that about?
now you're just trying to egg me on. Did he tell you about that? Okay.
Tell the story.
Well, so I don't know if you've kind of picked up, but both Ben and Dylan live with me. So they decided when I went on a bachelor trip, when I told them, hey, I don't want a fire pit because of liability or just not wanting to deal with it, I get a text saying, hey, we bought a fire pit. Let me know what you think. And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? So now there's just a huge burnt fire spot in my lawn. And I'm like, all
It's
right.
funny. Yeah, I feel bad
Yeah.
about that. I'll fix that. I'll
Like,
pay to
it's-
have it
it's-
fixed. No, I'd be
I was
pissed.
more worried about the bunnies next door. They had a house right there.
Dylan wanted to put the fire over the bunnies, and I vetoed that, and that's on the record.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Either way.
Anyways.
No, but when it comes to that, like I do like a huge vetting process when it comes to it. Especially with getting people like on the market looking for rentals.
Mm-hmm.
I try to make it rigorous because those are the ones that are hardworking and determined.
Mm-hmm.
Other little knickknacks or things that I look for that's very particular. I always look at their car. Do you know why?
Why?
Because that's what they'll do to your place too. And here's why. When you see all the stuff inside their car,
Okay.
that's how they're going to take care of your house.
What does my car look like?
Crap.
Dude, it's very clean. What are you talking? I have a text saying your car is very clean.
Yeah, just recently. But again, like,
Yeah.
I mean, seriously though, is like
No, that's a good tell. That's a good one.
it's a very small thing that is like, how do you tell how someone's going to be living at your place?
Mm-hmm.
It's first of all, are they on time? Are they responsive? And then especially too, how they're going to keep your place clean.
Yeah, absolutely.
So those are the things too. It's like that's a small detail that people overlook.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, do you set an appointment of when you're going to meet them? Are they going to be on time or 5 minutes early or 10 minutes late?
Yeah. I got switching topics. I don't know if you ran into this recently, but this is very recent, and I've ran into this on 3 deals in the past 4 weeks. There's a lot of fraud with title right now, like a lot.
I've heard of like scammers trying to like say, hey, you'll earn us money.
Really?
That's what I've heard a lot.
I had a deal where we needed to pay off a mortgage, for like Mr. Cooper, right?
Okay.
Somehow a scammer sent in a payoff letter. It was from like a Gmail, but a payoff letter with the Mr. Cooper at the right exact time of when they were supposed to pay off the mortgage. They sent in the payoff letter with different wiring instructions, and the person was about to send it, but they failed the verification process. And
Jesus.
everyone was like, it was like $300,000. Everyone was like, holy, like what is going on? And that's similar things have happened on separate files. And like, I don't know, it's very weird to run into that lately.
I mean,
just how recent and how abundant it has been.
I haven't really noticed that recently. I've had a title issue once of that almost happening, but that's
Really?
also why too. It's like you got to vet out the people that you work with and the companies you work with. I forget the title company, and obviously I wouldn't bring it up, but essentially, buyer was going to pay in all cash. We go and have the dollar amount of what we're supposed to do, and for him and for me, like I get nervous. Like it's a lot of money you're transferring over. Like if I type in 9 and one's supposed to be 8, I don't know where that's gonna go. And I go to a bank. I'm fine with paying the $20. Like screw that. I will be fine paying the $20 transfer wire fee. Like, and so we went to a bank. We sent the wire, and it was the lady's first time on deal, like doing wire transfer. I'm like, not today. Not today.
Bring your manager.
Yeah. And the manager was there, but I'm like, you double check that?
Yeah.
And they're like, you double check? So anyways, I get a title call. It's like, hey, are you counting? I'm like, yes. They're like, okay. So you're 200K short. And I'm like, how? I'm like, wait, what? They're like, yeah, you're 200K short on your deal. I'm like, there's no way. And I'm like, can you go double check? They're like, yeah, we'll double check. And they look and they're like, no, you're short. And I'm like, there's no way. So I'm like, are you like, this is for sure happening right now? Because I'm like, I saw all the money. I saw the exact number. And then I have to go tell them that. And I call them and tell them that. And they're freaking out because they're like, we sent all this money. We have no idea where it is. It's not in our bank. So call her again. I'm like, can you double check? And then she double checks. She's like, oh, actually, you sent way too much money. And I'm like, are you sure? I'm like, you just messed up again. I'm like, just please triple, quadruple check because I don't want to bring this back to them. They're very old. Like, he just had a heart attack too. I'm not even kidding. He just had a heart attack, and I'm like, this is gonna kill him. Like,
yeah.
I'm like, just please make sure.
Death by real estate deal.
Yeah, and so
I've had a couple close calls with that.
Yeah, but it was scary because I'm like, this is a lot of stress too. And she goes back. She's like, yeah, you are. And then I'm like, okay, I'm just going to wait a bit. She calls me again. She's like, I'm so sorry. I looked at the wrong file the whole time. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm like, so I just put this stress on them.
Yeah.
Where he just had a heart attack too.
Yeah. Wow.
Turned out he was $400 short.
Really?
So the lady who did the wire
yeah.
she typed in the wrong number. So
yeah, tellers are not the brightest.
But again, it was one of those things where it turned out good. But it was a very stressful hour of just that.
Yeah. What's a crazy deal story you have top of mind?
A lot of mine are unique. You want a good negotiating one?
Yeah, or just stuff you run into. I mean, a lot of people outside the industry don't understand the stuff we see and look at on a daily basis, whether it be how people live, random. These deals get very crazy very quickly.
I mean, to bring up my biggest negotiating deal I've ever done, which was absolutely insane, was I sold a firehouse.
Oh, really?
And not only that, I sold a car with it too. And I don't think I'll ever replicate that deal ever in my life, but it was definitely one of my most proudest moments because...
Was that the crypto deal?
Yes. So this guy was trying to pay... This is, you learn things quick because it was a year or two into my real estate journey. And this guy's like, can I pay in crypto? And I'm like, can I have a flashback to the $1 million listing New York? And I'm like, this guy's trying to offer in crypto. I'm like, I'm going to get slapped in the face. And what had happened was he was dead serious about that. I'm like, what do I say? So I talked to my broker and they're like, you're the first person that's ever asked that. I don't even know what to say. I'm like, great. So pretty much I had to just call the agent and see if they would be fine with it. And they said no. But again, they can take that form of currency. It's just also if title can process it too. But yeah, we got $70K under ask. And then I also negotiated a car in the sale of the purchase. And it was one of those deals too. Hot time in the market. We found a deal, but it was such a niche that I knew that you need a unique buyer. Let's take advantage of it. Yeah. So I was like, first of all, I threw out, I'm like, let's offer $100K under, see what happens. And then they offered something, and then we just came back. And I was like, let's just throw in the car. Let's see what happens. Because again, it's who knows? And they got it. So
wow, firehouse sub deal.
Yeah, and then I definitely went down that pole too.
It's wild.
It's so fun. Again, the guy is super awesome too, and we still chat here. But yeah, it was definitely a unique deal.
One of my coolest deals, I bought a duplex. It was a side by side, and I bought it with personal financing. I got approved just in my name. I bought outside of business, and I structured it very well where, I had some seller concessions, low down payment, right? So it was already very low cash to close. And I'm looking at my spreadsheet of all my credit card points. And I'm like, wait, I could convert this to cash and buy this property with credit card points. So I needed to come up with like $3,900. And Chase has a program where you can convert the points to cash and it'll send them a check. So I did that. I converted my credit card points to cash, and I sent the check to the title company, and I was able to buy a duplex with credit card points.
It's a great life lesson. Right?
It is a great life lesson.
Check your points.
Check your points.
Check your points.
Yeah, I guess what are your biggest goals in your real estate career? Like, what are some milestones you want to hit?
I mean, I think my next big milestone is just more in the investing route. I just want to, get another property, maybe like 2 or 3 before I'm 30. Definitely want to have like $1 million in assets. That's kind of the goal before 30. So other than that, I just want to keep growing each year, at least either being stagnant or producing more than I did the year before, because that just shows that, growth is actually happening and I'm doing a good job.
Yeah. What are your favorite things about working with Neway?
I think it's just the convenience and quick response. Again, communication is really key in this industry, and if you don't have that, it's really not good. And then just just like with First Weber, like being non-hassle and just very, abundant or apparent to all the issues that, a seller or buyer may have, and you're going to be accommodating to that. And I just don't see that a lot out there. It's just more of like, we just did the work, just buy it and move on. And you guys go the longer way of doing it right.
Right. How many deals have we done?
I think like 4 or 5.
Yeah, 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
and that was
it's
in the past year.
Yeah, only a year. So that's kind of crazy to even think about that too.
How did we meet?
You really want the story of how we met?
Connor, how did we meet?
Well, apparently you had a voice recording. I think Dylan first called me, and then you called me, and you were looking for, an off-market deal, and I just happened to have one, and I was like, this could fit. Dude shows up, like, I wasn't expecting how young he was. Shows up at this duplex acting all cool. But I mean, you walked through it and offered on spot, and it was one of those things too. It was very convenient for the seller. Obviously, he didn't want to take it, but you offered everything that he could take, and he didn't have to deal with the headache too.
Yeah,
but,
he didn't. I don't think he even wanted to sell at that point.
Again, it was one of those deals that just it wasn't meant to be for either of us,
right.
But. There was probably a different opportunity that he was kind of looking for.
And I remember it was a Tuesday at 11 a.m. and you asked if I wanted to go get a beer.
He wasn't old enough.
I was not old enough.
He was not old enough. And he played it off like he was. He's like, yeah, man, I
don't drink.
I don't really drink. And I'm like,
yeah,
interesting. And then a year when he turned 21, want to go get a drink? Weird how that plays out.
Yeah. So, I mean, I've heard you say this year is your best year.
Yeah. Going on year 5 right now, it's my biggest year. And it's not even the end. So I've already exceeded, and we're halfway through the year, and I've already exceeded what I did last year. So that makes me feel a lot better. But again, too, I'm trying to make sure I'm still doing everything quality wise and getting everyone to the finish line happy, because I always keep thinking in the back of my head, in a year or 2, I don't want them thinking I don't like this house, because then it makes me feel like I didn't do a good enough job of vetting it out,
right?
Making sure they are happy.
Yeah.
But
yeah, no, this year's been our best year by far, and very, I think getting down here in this area, living, surrounding yourself with good people, like you're able to do so much in a short amount of time.
And the big thing is just people don't realize there's always opportunity out there. And they just think it's going to be handed to them. You just got to find it, because sometimes it might be right in your face. Other times you got to go through the bushes and read through them to find it. But it's out there.
Yeah, exactly. You got to put in the work at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's a gruesome, long, hard job, but it's very rewarding when you do it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, any final thoughts? Anything you want to talk about? Anything you want to clip?
Guess I'll just say some nice things about Neway,
Okay.
since I know you want those clips, right?
What if you have an agent that's skeptical, if you have an agent that's skeptical of working with Neway, I guess what would you tell them?
I tell them that go look at other flips and compare the quality of work, because they do the vetting of hiring quality contractors. That's where a lot of people, they don't even pull permits, and you guys do everything and doing all these code inspectors and everything to make sure that the next person's going to get a quality job.
Mm-hmm.
And if they didn't do it right, you guys are going to go and actually fix it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where too, it's coming with the service and quality of work that comes with Neway that I think a lot of buyers appreciate.
Mm-hmm. And as an agent, do you think, we involve everyone in the transaction fairly? Like as far as pay goes, as far as
I could get always paid more.
fucking delete that.
No.
All right, let me restart that. All right.
I wouldn't bring that up.
Why? Yeah, that's great.
Um,
Do you a big thing when agents work with investors? A lot of investors are very choosy on how much the agent makes. I guess what's your experience with Neway?
I think the big thing is just like knowing your value, and you guys don't like you understand that everyone needs to get paid finding a deal, whether if it's like, oh, it was just my family member, but like you found the deal and you found us. You guys are always willing to pay what they're worth without a question. And a lot of times too, it's, taking those upfront costs away from, the actual seller to save the time and stress from them to just make sure that everyone's happy.
Yeah. Yeah, I had my operations guy pull a report of all of our files this year of, just getting an insight of how we're paying agents, what our most common deal structure is. Mm-hmm. And the biggest thing is we pay agents out of our pocket. So you can go to a seller and say, hey, this is the net that's going to be to you, right? We're paying commission and closing costs on the majority of the deals. Every deal is structured a little different. Some sellers, want less. It's really up in there. But, yeah, I thought that was very unique what we found.
Yeah, and again, sometimes too, like understanding the situation where you got to be not only respectful but understanding of sometimes they need that help, and it's like, let's just get you there because I know they might be going through something. And you're willing to accommodate any intense situation they're in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and at the end of the day, the agents we work with, it's very the sellers first, right? I mean, we're solving their problem. Then we got to solve the problem of, okay, like we'll pay the agent. We're happy to do that. Like they brought the deal, right? Let's make sure they're rewarded and, they're paid appropriately for their services. Because a lot of people just go out there and discount, and that's just not something we'll do. All right, Connor Vafi, everyone.